Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I am going to continue on with the effect of the, the spreading of fascism around the world, which nobody seems to be noticing. Well, I shouldn't say no one. There are people who notice it. Some people are becoming quite loud about it, like I am, and I want to show you, if I can, more effects. In Canada, here where I'm living, we have no hope of finding justice in our courtrooms. I've brought this up before, but it's absolutely true. I mean, that sounds farcical, right? But when you have politicians who appoint all the judges, the politicians get what they want. We had a former head of the Supreme Court of Canada. Her name is Beverly Ann McLachlin. She was appointed by a prime minister from Quebec, a Quebecois, in fact. You see, in Canada, we have two countries here. We have Canada, we have Quebec, and actually we have a third one now, which I'm not going to bring up because it's quite different. These things are to serve, the system is like this, to serve the rich and the powerful. The people who get abused by the crown, destroyed by the crown, have no hope of finding justice. And the reason for that, I mean, it may sound stupid, but the reason is that in our new constitution, a judge has no power whatsoever over the government. Nothing. The judges of Canada have only power over the people, and they are not elected people. These judges of Canada were never elected. Like Beverly Ann McLachlin did not study law. I mean, she did study law, but she studied philosophy for 6 years. It seems like the law was an afterthought. In fact, in her own words, it was that she had caught the eye of the Dean of Law, and she finished her university studies in law. That is a lie. She lied. Now, why would the Supreme Court of Canada Justice lie? Why did she do that? She's trying to hide the fact that her real love is philosophy, because when she finished her LLB, it's called, her law degree, not yet called to the bar, by the way, she continued with a master's degree in philosophy and completed it in about 4 or 5 months. From the look of it, now I'm only quoting what I went to the university to find out. And interestingly enough, the university, when they responded to my request about her education, how many university degrees does she have, the university said she has a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and an LLB. So I wrote them back. I understand she also has a master's degree. Could you explain what that is? So a few days later, I got another email from her university, and it said, she also has a master's degree in philosophy, which she completed in the same year she completed her LLB. About 4 months afterward, in fact. Now, this person is brilliant beyond words because she has first-class honors with distinction and then with a master's degree. And from there, she went on to get called to the bar, but moved to the province of British Columbia, I believe. I'm not sure if she actually worked as a lawyer in Alberta, her home province. She's German by descent. I think her last name is Gitz, or Geitz. It might be Geitz. It's German. I think it's G-E-I-T-Z. So it would be properly pronounced Geitz, I believe. Anyway, and very shortly after becoming a lawyer, she becomes a professor of law at the University of British Columbia. Now, I went to university. I have a Bachelor of Science degree. I have a 4-year program. Anyway, what happens there, and I know quite a few of them, of course, when you get a teaching appointment, you don't get hired as a professor right away unless you're somebody really special. It is a long and winding road before you become a professor. But for Beverly Ann McLachlin, it was not a long and winding road. And she gets to teach law. I often think to myself, who has got the wind at her back? Because I don't know of anybody else who's ever done it. I have an acquaintance of mine, he's passed away, but he had a master's degree in law, and he came from Harvard University. Yes, so, but he made tremendous contributions to Canada. he came here because Canada at that time did not have maritime law. We had no maritime boundary around our country. And he convinced the government, and he had a hell of a fight on his hands. I've noticed this about Canada, it's that same old scientific thing, you come through with a great scientific breakthrough, all of your colleagues say, pish posh, you're an idiot, you don't know anything, you're a goddamn fool. And then you continue and you do some more lecturing, you do some more touring, and you show your discovery over and over again, and some people say, well, you might actually have something there. Then a few years later, they all come to the conclusion, oh, that was self-evident anyway, we all knew that. So that's how it goes here in Canada as well. Probably around the world, it seems to be human behavior. I'm responsible for the holograms on coins and the holograms on paper money. It came from my company at Amherst, Nova Scotia. It was stolen from me by a man named David Dingwall, who was the Member of Parliament in charge of a group called ACOA, which is the Atlantic Canada Opportunity Agency. I have had 6 meetings with them. I was supposed to go to Atlanta, Georgia gift show, showing off my wares. And I very stupidly said to them, the ACOA people, that these holograms cannot be copied. No one can make it. I know how to make it. In fact, we had a deal. We were going to make them for my company. And all the money that was given to, there's a third party in here called Cumberland Development Corporation. They were in charge of all the money for some reason. They were politically connected somehow, and they walked away with all the money, and not just mine, a lot of other people. One of them moved to Bermuda. He is known to have taken at least $1 million out of the account. The people in Amherst, Nova Scotia, when he came back, he wanted to sell all of his assets, because when you become a citizen of Bermuda, you cannot hold assets anywhere else in the world. So he came back. I know him well. I went to university with him. And they had a closed-door session of the town council, and they were going to prosecute him unless he returned the $1 million. So what did he say? He said, you can do that if you like, but I have kept careful record of everybody who has taken money from that fund. All of the business people, all of the entrepreneurs going into business who received money from the Government of Canada, it goes into one account, and one account only. Cumberland Development Corporation is part of it, and so is the town of Amherst. You have all taken the money. If you're going to prosecute me, I've got the goods on all of you. Every last one. So what do you think they did? There was a very short pause. And then all of a sudden the mayor reached over the table. Have fun in Bermuda. Goodbye. He sold his property, sold all his assets, closed the bank account, lives now in Bermuda. Very happy man. When you got $1 million in your jeans, your life is pretty good, isn't it? But he stole the money. But in Canada, we don't call it stealing, because I went through all of this. I went through the Privacy Commissioner. I tried to get this information, and the Government of Canada fights all Canadians vigorously. The Government of Canada does not like whistleblowers. Government of Canada destroys whistleblowers. I know that because I'm a whistleblower. In the United States, they have a reward program for whistleblowers. Is America leading the world? Yes. Canada would like to tell you it's leading the world, but we have leaders like Justin Trudeau, who is all playing nicey nice in front of the camera, but as soon as the politician from another country leaves, then he shits in their face. As soon as they're out of the country. There's some integrity there, huh? Now there's allegations of him groping women when he lived here in this city where I'm working, Vancouver. I've been in his house once. He used to be a bouncer in a bar, good at beating up people when they're drunk. But there are lots of good-looking women in this city, as there are in cities around the world. And he didn't seem to have, when he got married, nobody knew he even had a girlfriend. So it was curious to me, like, how did you get to be a bouncer in a bar and you didn't have a girlfriend? But now there are allegations of groping, and the Government of Canada will have nothing to do with it. There are no charges laid. It doesn't matter here. This is a lawless country. We have no law. That may sound stupid, except I've gone through the Law Referral Service here in Vancouver. I recorded this call. A woman lawyer said to me, Mr. Wheaton, there are no laws in Canada. Not one. She's right. I've been in the courtrooms many times. You may refer to the law all you like. The judge will smile, they'll rub their nose, they rub their eyes, and they look at the clock. They look back down at you, and if they had a rock, they'd throw it. The lawyer there, they've already had a conversation privately, without your knowledge, and even if you hire a lawyer, they still do it. And the lawyer said to me, I've hired two. He said, the judge can't do this. A judge in Canada may do anything. The top judge in this province conspired against a man and sent him to prison for life. Wow. Isn't that a great country? Beverly Ann McLaughlin, remember her? She says Canada is a model for the rest of the world. Judicially speaking, it is a model for the rest of the world. The only country copying Canada's law system is Communist China. Communist China figured it out. Let's talk about China for a moment. China's pretty mad at Mr. Trump, the President of the United States, because he's breaking up the G7. You know, he doesn't like all these deals that got made before where we're all going to hug and sing Kumbaya. So he decides he's got these policies, and he wants freer trade for America into Europe. The Europeans have closed their doors to American trade for whatever reason. And so now China decided it was going to play nicey nice with Europe. He goes to meet Merkel and all the other a-holes. I'm sorry, my crew wrote a-holes. You guys are getting out of control again. Do I have to talk to you? I know you don't listen. Never mind. Let's go back to this. So the people of Europe, you know, they all play nicey nice until, that's it, President Xi goes back to China. And then they say, well, you just can't trust the Chinese. Because the Chinese told them that we're going to allow imports of European vehicles into China. Gasoline vehicles, diesel vehicles. China has changed policy. Chinese vehicles will all be electric. And the Europeans said this about the Chinese. They make a deal, you're going to enter their market. Then they change the policy, and by the time you get there, the train has left the platform. And you're standing there waiting for another train. And China said there is no more trains because we've just changed everything. Thanks for playing. So China comes to Europe, hat in hand, buy our goods, they buy them. Africa, Asia, Canada, the United States, maybe not Mexico so much. And they want your money. But when you go there to try to trade with them, they don't want you to trade with them. They want your money, though. So I understand this sort of a tug of war going on right now, and I believe, as much as the Europeans do not like the President of the United States, they have a problem. They don't lead the world. And the other problem, they don't trust the Chinese. In China, they have this program called One Belt, One Road. I don't know if anybody's read about it. And it sounds all like, you know, we're all going to get together and hug and sing Kumbaya. Well, that's not what they meant. What they meant was China's belt, China's road. And they've coughed up a lot of money. They want to build this superstructure for transporting goods around the world. But they want to transport their goods around the world. You see how it's going? It seems like they've learned a lot from the fascist system of law we have in Canada. It's as Beverly Ann McLaughlin said, it's a model. It is a model for fascism. You will not find justice in this country. I've been in the courts many times. I've had bailiffs knocking at my door. I've been arrested. I've been handcuffed. I've gone to jail. And the Crown loves it. I'm a whistleblower, and the Crown loves to beat up the people. Just like Justin Trudeau used to do in the bars here in Vancouver. But he waits for them to have a few too many drinks, and then it's easy to beat up somebody who's drunk. But why wouldn't you do it? It's like you would beat up somebody as soon as they leave your country and they're on a plane flying back to America, then you shit in their face. It's nice, isn't it? Well thought out. Things that are well thought out. I'm running out of time. I'm going to have to get going again. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to be back because I'm telling you, we have to become as the famous comedian who said that people have to become critical thinkers. You have to think on your own. Don't let those assholes on TV tell you what to do. You know, people on CNN telling you what it all means, or Peter Mansbridge in Canada. What does it all mean? It's like, well, what happened to you? What happened to you? You can't figure things out. You know, you want to make breakfast, you know, look around in your fridge. Maybe you've got a couple of eggs. Maybe you've got some hash browns you can heat up. How about toast? What's wrong with that? Did you think of that yourself, or do you got to turn on the TV and have the TV tell you what to eat? Oh, Anthony Bourdain's coming in the door. Oh, we're going to have, you know, brook trout almondine for breakfast. Hardly. Anyway, I'll get on that treadmill another day. My crew is, they're making fun of me again because they're going to start misspelling words. I know what they're like. They're fiendish. In a nice way, though. I don't know why I keep them around. Probably because, why do I keep you guys around? Truly do, everybody. Have fun. Bye.